You wake up, you hit the ground running, and you don't stop until the sun goes down. You juggle emails, reorganize your calendar, and move files until you are exhausted. But when you stop and look back at what you actually finished today, the output is essentially zero. This gap in performance is the illusion of competence. It is the cognitive distinction between being in motion, passively planning, strategizing, and prepping, and taking action, which means executing deep, results-producing work. The brain naturally struggles to distinguish these two states. Because checking off a minor administrative task triggers a sense of effort, the mind assumes that any movement at all equals tangible progress. This illustration captures a professional attempting to manage multiple tabs, documents, and overlapping projects. Each of these open loops adds to the extraneous cognitive load. When working memory is forced to hold on to so many passive tasks, very little bandwidth remains for actual execution. High cognitive load creates a false sense of busyness. When we allow passive tasks to fill our mental capacity, we mistake the effort of maintenance for the results of meaningful work. This mental friction is driven by the wild horse effect. In our evolutionary past, anxiety acted as a biological early warning system, a disaster simulator that kept us alive by predicting physical threats. In the modern world, that system is often stuck in the on position. This hypervigilant state creates a constant low-level tension. Because of this, we respond to minor stressors, like a short email or a sudden shift in a deadline, with intense and completely draining emotional reactions. When cognitive capacity is already at its maximum capacity, these tiny triggers cause an emotional stampede. This surge of stress interrupts the focus required for deep work. Difficulty focusing is the result of an evolutionary glitch. In this state, the brain treats minor workplace friction, like an overflowing inbox, as a literal predator. To fix this, we have to look past the concept of willpower. The struggle to get things done is an internal biological war fought across two distinct regions of the brain. This diagram shows the human brain. At the front is the prefrontal cortex, the logical rider, responsible for complex decision-making. Deep underneath lies the limbic system, the wild horse, driven by immediate survival, impulse, and instant reward. This primitive brain operates on an orienting response. It has a heavy novelty bias, meaning it is biologically hardwired to drop its current task to pay attention to new, sudden stimuli. Modern digital environments are specifically engineered to hijack this bottom-up attention pathway. These systems trigger the survival instincts of the horse until it eventually throws the rider. Trivial tasks like clearing notifications provide small, immediate hits of dopamine. Real, meaningful work requires the brain to delay that gratification and endure the discomfort of high cognitive effort. In 1954, researchers used a Skinner box to find that rats would press a lever thousands of times an hour for direct electrical stimulation to their brain's reward centers. They chose this over basic survival needs until reaching total exhaustion. Refreshing an infinite scroll or cycling through browser tabs uses that same reward loop. We are essentially operating within a digital Skinner box. Toggling between these hits destroys the capacity for alternating attention. Every switch creates a temporary lag, costing mental energy and fragmenting the focus needed for deep work. In an environment designed to exploit dopamine pathways, relying on raw willpower is a path to failure. Taming the beast requires building rigid external walls around the horse so it only has one possible path to run. You start by reducing your decision surface area. Pre-deciding your top priorities the night before frees up working memory. This prevents the brain from burning out on low-stakes choices before the day begins. Next, use time boxing. Giving tasks a strict, defined container prevents mental energy from leaking into open-ended anxiety. A 45-minute block creates the psychological closure needed to maintain intensity. It is also necessary to allow for genuine boredom. Taking 10 minutes of cognitive rest without digital input resets the brain's dopamine baseline and restores working memory. Productivity requires intentionally starving the brain of cheap digital novelty. This resets the system and restores the capacity for sustained focus. Let's test your current baseline. Think about the last hour. How many times did you pick up your phone for no reason? Share that number in the comments. Then attempt the 90-minute sprint. Spend the first 90 minutes of tomorrow completely offline. No email, no notifications. Defend that work window against all intrusions. If you commit to taking the reins back tomorrow morning, type the word writer in the comments. Stop running with the herd, carve your own path, and subscribe as we continue exploring the mechanics of human performance.